the penguin who wouldn't leave. At the very bottom of the world, where the land is buried under 2 miles of ice, sits a small collection of buildings. This is Antarctic Research Station Amundsen. It is a lonely place, a tiny bubble of warmth and light in a vast, frozen wilderness. Finn was a scientist who studied rhythms. He measured the rhythm of the shifting glaciers, the rhythm of the polar winds, and, most importantly, the ancient rhythm of the Adelie penguins, who returned to this spot every single year to build their nests. The arrival of the penguins was like a great symphony. A silent, empty shore would suddenly erupt into a cacophony of squawks and chatter as thousands of birds, sleek and determined, emerged from the sea to reclaim their nesting grounds. Finn spent his days sitting quietly on a camp stool, observing the colony through his camera lens. He never got too close. But one afternoon, he noticed a single penguin detach from the bustling crowd and waddle directly towards him. The penguin stopped just a few feet away. It wasn't scared. It simply tilted its head and looked at Finn with dark, shiny eyes. Finn slowly lowered his camera, his heart thumping. It felt less like he was observing a subject and more like he was meeting a person. "Hello there," Finn whispered. The penguin let out a soft squawk. From that day on, it became their ritual. While the other penguins ignored him, this one would seek him out, a small, tuxedoed companion in the great white silence. Finn named him Pip. But the Antarctic summer is brutally short. As the sun began to dip towards the horizon for longer each day, the penguins felt the ancient call of the sea. The time for nesting was over. It was time to leave. Finn watched from the station's observation deck as the last of the penguins vanished into the waves. The silence they left behind was heavier than before. He missed his friend. A long, dark winter passed. Finn returned to the station the following spring. The landscape was the same magnificent white, but his instruments were telling him something was wrong. The ice was thinner. The spring melt had come weeks too early. When the penguins returned, Finn was waiting. He scanned the chaotic, noisy throng with his binoculars, his gaze sweeping over thousands of identical-looking birds. He was searching for just one. And then he saw it, a purposeful waddle, a confident gait. A single penguin broke from the crowd and made a beeline right for him. Finn's breath caught in his throat. It was Pip. He had come back. Their reunion was one of quiet understanding. Pip stood by Finn's feet, preening his feathers as if no time had passed at all. He hadn't forgotten. He had traveled thousands of miles through the harshest ocean on Earth, and he had returned. Finn began a new journal, dedicated entirely to Pip. He documented the unique behavior, the unmistakable bond. It was unheard of, a wild animal returning not just to a place, but to a person. They spent that short summer together. Finn would read his research notes aloud, his voice the only human sound for 100 miles, and Pip would stand nearby, a silent, attentive audience of one. But Finn's data told a grim story. The ocean was warming. The ice was retreating. The tiny krill that the penguins depended on were disappearing. The ancient rhythm he had come to study was falling out of sync. One afternoon, a sound like thunder cracked across the ice. A colossal section of the glacier broke away and crashed into the sea. The entire penguin colony panicked, a wave of terror rippling through the birds. The world was changing around them. The departure came too soon this year. The season was cut short by the unstable conditions. As Finn watched Pip prepare to leave, he felt a deep, aching fear. It wasn't just goodbye for the winter. It felt more final. Pip gave one last squawk, a sound that seemed to hold a question. Then he turned and joined the grim procession, marching towards a sea that was no longer a reliable friend, but a growing threat. Finn left Antarctica with a new purpose. He presented his findings not just to other scientists, but to the world. He told them about the melting ice and the disappearing krill. and he told them the story of one small, stubborn penguin. On Finn's desk, thousands of miles away from the ice, sits a small, framed photograph of a man and a penguin. Friends. He looks at it every day, a symbol of everything he is fighting to protect. He waits and he hopes that the rhythm of their friendship is strong enough to survive the world's changing tune.
Like and subscribe Trend Life Animation channel for another story.